With the first pick, with the second pick, with the third pick, with the fourth pick,
crashing the boards.
select.
Hello and welcome back to Crashing the Boards. I don't even know what episode we're on anymore. I'm not going to number them, but I am super excited to be back post-draft with my man, Jordan Foote. Jordan, tell the people what you've been up to.
Man, stepping out into the real world, man. I have a 40-hour-a-week job now. Took over at SI Chiefs doing that. Took over at SI Royals, the head guy over there. So I'm really trying to, plant both feet in the Kansas City sports media scene. Also trying to keep up with the NBA, college football, college basketball, everything. That grind never really stops when you're trying to scout players. So you hit me up and said, I got a guy that you should take a look at. And I was like, all right, hopping on to log on and look at some tape as soon as I could.
That's right, man. We're really excited to talk about Norchad Omier, who is a very interesting player, interesting story, interesting background, and interesting game. Anxious to hear your opinions on him. I know we haven't talked about him past, hey, look him up. So Norchad is a 6'7", 230-pound power forward. He plays at Arkansas State. He averaged 12.57 points, along with 12.26 rebounds. So a double-double guy. Not many guys in the NCAA can say that this year. He ended up with 1.22 steals, 1.43 blocks, 0.78 assists. He shot 53% from the field. Didn't make any threes. He probably shot one or two the entire season, and shot 68% from the free throw line. So to give you a little background on Norchad, he came from Nicaragua, and he didn't start playing high school basketball in the United States till he was a senior in high school. And the stories about him playing in his senior year are crazy. So he didn't play on any circuits. He just played high school basketball down at Miami Prep. And he averaged something like 40 and 20 a game, or 30 and 20 or something like that. He put up 44 and 20 against IMG Academy. But since he only played 1 year and didn't get on the circuit, he ended up not getting heavily recruited. Ended up at Arkansas State and showed out. I mean, you can see from the tape, this guy he's strong. He probably has 1% body fat. He bullies people in the post. He obviously can get some rebounds. He's just a force to be reckoned with. And Jordan, I just am curious to hear your initial opinion or thoughts on Norchad.
Yeah, man, I like him a lot. And getting to know his background, this story, I think makes it even better. Like, people they say, obviously the background shouldn't completely sway your judgment when you're evaluating a prospect, but I think the background's important. Like, if a kid's been playing hoops his whole life versus a kid who just picked it up senior year of high school or whatever, that's a big difference. And you can see the growth already with Norchad. I think really the positives are both equally there for me, but I'm going to start on defense. I think he's light on his feet. He can follow guards. He opens his hips really quickly and can kind of get going towards the rim. He doesn't get beat very often. Disciplined, but has really active hands. The numbers back that up too. I think he has impeccable timing. Like, he doesn't have elite length. I was trying to find his wingspan, and a lot of sites said like 6'8", which that isn't crazy for a 6'7" guy. Makes up for the lack of elite length with that great timing. Weak side rotations are a plus. So I think it really starts with his ability on the defensive end.
Yep, I'm right there with you. He's super strong. He's been playing basketball. So he started playing, I think they said at age 15 or 16, and was really standing out. So they brought him over here. But the instinct for how little time he's been playing is pretty impressive defensively, no question. Offensively, he's a perfect European big in the sense that he can hang out in the short corner or the dunker spot, whichever you want to call it. And, if a point guard needs to dump something off real quick, or, if his guy comes off to help, he's around the basket. He's ready to catch a lob. He's ready to finish hard and strong. He doesn't extend the floor. Okay, we already talked about the fact that he didn't shoot many threes. He didn't shoot much from the mid range either. Excuse me. So that's a part of his game that certainly I'd like to see develop. But right now, as strong as he is in the post, he's a really big threat to be reckoned with.
Yeah, man. I put interior presence offensively as like an entire plus. Like I think he finishes hard at the rim, like you said, very deliberate with his movements. He's very strong. He had some reps on tape where he was catching the ball with his back to the basket and kind of trying to go to work, specifically on the left block. I saw that a little bit. Flashes, the second jump is great. He's a fantastic rebounder. The size isn't really there. Even for a college player, like his timing and instincts are great, especially for someone who hasn't been playing that long. And something I noticed, he flashes as a pick and roll man. Like he has mobility, he can navigate a little bit. Like you said, he can hang out at the dunker spot. He can step out and run that pick and roll as the guy going to the rim. So a limited offensive game, and I think we'll talk about that with question marks after this. But the strengths he has, both literally and figuratively, are definitely there.
Yeah, and you mentioned his footwork defensively and ability to turn his hips, and he's light on his feet. And I think the footwork shows up offensively as well. I think there's a lot of room to improve, but he can turn over either shoulder. He's comfortable finishing with either hand. Um, he's flashed kind of a turnaround jump shot, if you will, not from deep, but you can tell there are parts of the game that aren't there, but have the potential to be there. He knows what to do and how to do it. It's just a matter of executing. So I am excited about the prospect of his growth, and we'll see what happens. But I already mentioned his lack of floor spacing. But what do you have question mark wise?
Yeah, so offensively, just not a ton of ball on the floor ability, not a ton of passing chops. That stuff he just hasn't been asked to do, and he's so early in his development that I don't think that people should hold that against him necessarily, because there can only be so many offensive hubs in the NBA that are power forwards or whatever. But I think the not even attempting to space the floor, not that it's necessarily his fault, but 2 for 8 on mid-range shots last year, 0 for 3 from deep. So can he develop even that mid-range jumper like a la Bam Adebayo, where he doesn't even need the 3-point shot, but just the ability to not necessarily take defenders off the dribble and go to the rim, but catch at the mid-range, kind of space the floor just a little bit. Collegiately, he can be fine without expanding it, but I think at the NBA level, at least offensively, being able to step out just a bit, maybe 17, 18 feet, would help quite a bit.
Yep, you hit the nail on the head. It's a floor spacing league, the NBA, right? And you've got to be able to hit from outside. We've seen that with a lot of different guys. But again, he hasn't been playing that long. The touch, can he get there? Maybe. If not, still a very serviceable European player that, some of those guys make a lot of money over in Europe, just being that prototypical strong enforcer inside, a guy that can get offensive rebounds, right? Omier averaged 4 offensive rebounds a game, and that's potentially 8 extra points for your team. So it's a big deal, man. I wanted to bring him up to you. I'm not bringing him up as a potential 2022 draft pick by any means. There's some elements of his game that certainly need to develop, but he's a fun player to watch. He's a guy that if I'm scouring ESPN Plus on a random weeknight and I see Arkansas State, I'm certainly going to pull up the game and see how he's doing.
Yeah, for sure. And another question mark that I was just curious about, is strength enough? Like he's a little bit undersized for forward lengthwise. History isn't extremely kind to players of his size without other skills. Like you think Draymond Green, 6'7", 230, they're two different players. Like Draymond, willing to shoot when he has to, has the passing chops, obviously. It's going to take some development, I think, in order to stick in that starting role. NBA defense and rebounding is a lot more difficult than collegiate defense and rebounding. So for the summary, I have him as a raw power forward who flashes legit potential as a heady defender and a post-centric offensive player with some roll man capability. And then the development of the other parts of his game will determine his ceiling. The floor is pretty obvious and a necessary component of winning basketball.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm not even going to add a summary because I think you hit the nail on the head. It is one of those guys that, well, I've already said it, fun to watch, really strong player, stands out, amongst other college kids just with his size alone. And there's a lot there. There's a lot there. So,
yeah.
Man, that's it. Just happy to be back with you guys. We'll probably post these every now and then just to stay in touch. We really appreciate the support so far. Over 100 subs. I haven't looked recently, but over 100 subs, man.
Yeah, it's unreal. I remember we started this and we were just like, we're just gonna have fun with it. If we get 10 subs, that'll be cool. Then we got, I think, 25, and we were both like, holy crap, like we have 25 subs, and we hit 50, 75. Even after the draft, like still rolling in people subscribing to the content. So super excited to keep putting it out. Like the next NBA draft is 11 months away or whatever. It seems like it was simultaneously forever ago, but also feels like it's just recently happened.
Right. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Hey, we have some merchandise. If you are into that kind of thing, you can check us out. I'll post a link in the description. I'm having some trouble with the store today and the last couple of days here, but trying to get those sorted out. There are a couple items on there that you're welcome to check out to purchase. We got a onesie for Lena in the mail yesterday. Our sweatshirts are supposed to arrive here pretty shortly as well, but yeah, check that out if you want. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Again, everything's linked in the description. Until next time, stay right, stay real. God bless.
With the first pick, with the second